Alright, ladies and gentlemen, let's continue this. And I wanted, for today's video at least, to continue with our Django learning process. To me, it seems the simplest one out of the three efforts that I have. I have one effort for learning Django, as I said, the other one for learning some machine learning, and the third one for doing this side project. And these two require some mental effort. This one is the simplest one, so let's start with this. I don't need to know. I know where I am. Is it the learning Django? Yes. I'm gonna open this. Nice. Juicy. Juicy. Yeah, of course I don't have a Git instance running and I don't need it. So Python 3 and I forgot to create an alias. This doesn't work right. Yeah, because I don't have just a second. So what I need here before I even continue, I want to link the Python command to Python point to Python 3. So I most certainly need to set up an alias. I think this is the best solution. So usually what was happening was that Python was running Python 2, but considering that it's the year 2025, no one uses Python 2, more or less, unless you're working in some legacy applications. What I need to do is now, at least temporary, I can do this, I think. Alias, Python 3. And now if I run Python version, yeah, I'm running Python 3. This is not persistent. Basically, as soon as we close our current terminal session, this is gonna break, and next time it won't work. But yeah, I think it's okay for now. So basically, yeah, that's the thing. This makes my life easier. Now I can just type Python and use it. But I don't want to use it. I want to source. Well, what's the name of my environment? Here. Source my bin activate test project. Okay, let's continue. So what am I supposed to do now? All right, before we even start this, let me just run server. I want to clean this up a bit. It's here. So we have the pagination, we have our posts here, but I want to, if I open my test project, if I go to blog, if I go to, not static, if I go to templates. Okay, this is the paginator. The paginator is reusable, but this is what I want. I want to remove all of this, all the meta elements. We'll only leave the content of this and have these other elements be reusable. So how can I do this? Okay, so what can we do? We can most probably inherit templates, and we will use a concept called template inheritance, which is helpful for keeping our templates dry, basically meaning that we shouldn't repeat ourselves. Dry means don't repeat yourself. So instead of copying all of this every time and only having the content be changeable, we'll actually export all of this. So I'll create here a new file. I'll call it base HTML, and here I'll copy all of this and all of this. So only the skeleton. And now here I'm gonna create a main element. Why doesn't it automatically close? I hate this. Main. It doesn't close it automatically. And then I'm gonna store here our projected content. What else? Everything else is, I think, all right. Everything should be all right. Maybe I can provide here a different title, but let's leave it for now. All right, so we have this. Now I can remove everything from here. And I need to extend our base HTML file that we created. I'm using this Django template notion in which I'm injecting logic, and I'm gonna say extends blog base HTML, blog HTML, using the same here, blog content, this is my content, and blog, and if I now refresh, yeah, of course, doesn't work. What the I fucked something up. Unclose tag on line 1, block looking for one. Where is this? List HTML. Maybe this needs to be on a new line. Is this the reason? No, this is the, yeah, it's done. So it extends this shit here. So what should happen here is that my base HTML should act like a wrapper or a layout template. And list HTML, I don't need this, I think. No, it doesn't work at all. Interesting. So it should be here, block content. And then I should create another end block. And if I, oh man, this, it works. End block, I don't need this end block here. Or, or I do need it. Here. Oh, what? Why do I have two of these now? End block. So now I don't need it anymore. I have no idea what happened just here. So I assume that my end block that was here was on the same page as the other block sections, but because once I said okay, it extends, my template is a child template, and everything I write inside here needs to be inside a block. You know, it's like being a guest in someone else's house. But I need to change my select, not prettier, select, what? All right, let's leave it like here for now. I'm not very happy that it looks like this, but I don't think it's gonna break anything. Oh, maybe I should do the same for the details. So I'm just gonna copy this. The details page is still under work. It's gonna be ready at one point. Not now, but at one point, yeah. But all posts. Is this even working? What if I type in post author, and if I now click on a publish post, okay, it works. It works. Okay, I just need to fill it at one point. But let me just talk now about something else. Let me talk about forms. So we have a concept in Django. They are called forms and model forms. So we can build our forms two ways in Python. We can use form, which is a class, which is used for custom forms that are not tied to a model. And we have a model form, which is auto-generated forms based on a module. The form is the pure form class, and we defined fields manually. It's great for custom data like contact forms or search bars or so on. And it looks like this. Maybe I could just show this. Yeah. So I can write class contact form, what I provide, forms here, and now I can create elements. I can say name is equal to form dot, pardon, forms is here as well. Forms dot character field, and I kind of more of these guys. And we can also have model form, which are forms based on a model. And they look like this. So I can write class post form. The difference here is that this one is inheriting from model form. And then I can have here class, I don't know, meta, and I can have here that my model is equal to the post, and I can have fields that are equal to, I don't know, title or body, and so on. Basically, the model form is just Django doing your work for you. It reads your database model and types up the form for you. But here, in the form, we are all doing it manually. So let's create a form file and break everything down. So I'm gonna close all of this, open this, close all of these guys, so we have an empty working environment, forms.py. From Django, I'm importing forms. No. Forms, all right. Class, this is gonna be an email post form. Why are we doing this? Because we want to send emails. Forms.form. A collection of fields plus their associated data. This is gonna be name, forms, character field is gonna be, I don't know, my max length of 25. What else can I have? Email, forms dot email field. 2 is gonna be forms dot email field. Comments is gonna be forms dot character field required. Walls widget is forms text area. What's happening here? We created 4 fields. We have the name, which is a regular character field with 25 characters. We also have an email, which is an email field, basically meaning it must be a valid email. This one also needs to be a valid email for sharing. And comments are optional because we have required false here. And they are shown as text area instead of an input, which is also pretty interesting. This form will be a small interface where someone can share a blog post by email. It collects data such as the sender and the recipient emails, a name, and an optional comment. Now, they should also create a new view for this. This is going to be post share. I'm receiving a request. Every one of these guys is receiving a request. I also need my post ID. So what should happen here? Let me try to pull this post from my database. Get object of 404. I'm looking in the post. I'm looking for post ID. I'm looking for status published. By the way, get object or 404, this method, loads the blog post by ID. If it doesn't exist, we get 404, and here we also have some more information on it. Use get to return an object or raise an HTTP 404 exception if the object does not exist. Class might be a model, manager, or query set object. All other past arguments and keywords arguments are used in the get query. Like with query set get multiple objects that turn its raised. Okay. So if request method is equal to post, form will be email post form. I also need to import it from forms import email post form. So I'm creating a new email post form. It's gonna be request post, and if the form is valid, clean data, send email. We're gonna do this. Otherwise, if it's not post, email post form, I'm just returning the form itself. Blog post share HTML post form. So if the user has submitted the form, we bind the post data to the form itself. Now we also run a validation check to see if the form is valid. CD is a dictionary of clean validated data, which is safe to use now. And yeah, otherwise, if it's a get request, we're going to show a blank form, as I said, and we are just returning the form page, passing both the form and the post. Basically, how we write forms is that we first define a form. We create forms py and we define a form, or why have I opened here? And or model form. And then we bind the data depending on the request model, what we do. And then we also need to add the form to our template as well. And then we need to handle the submitted data. So what we need to do now is to enable the logic for email sending Django. Basically, Django uses SMTP, which is a simple mail transfer protocol to send emails, just like a normal email client. But we need to tell Django where and how to send those emails. So we need to configure our SMTP in settings py. So we can either do this, which are settings to connect to an SMTP server. Like we have email backend, we have the host, which is a Gmail server. We can also do it to SendGrid or MailTrap or some others. Okay, email port. We can also use the host user and we need to add host user and host password in order to enable this. But for now, I'm gonna remove all of this. You can add this but we are only gonna do local testing without real emails. I might add real ones down the road, but for now I don't need them. Basically, we will write all emails to the console, which is useful during development. Yeah, Django basically doesn't send the emails itself. It asks a procedure, a mailman, SMTP to do it. We need to tell Django who the mailman is by setting these properties here: host, port, password, and Django will do the rest. So let me open the Django shell here. Let me kill this and do Python manage py shell. All right. Run Django core mail import send mail, and I'm gonna use it. Send mail Django. This email was sent with Django my account gmail.com. Your account gmail.com. Fail silently false, and I think this the only yeah, of course I broke it somewhere. Connection refused. All right, so this is the subject, this is the message body, this is my email. These are the list of recipients, and this is silently. This just basically means that we need to raise an error if something goes wrong. Yeah, basically this error means that I haven't set up the SMTP server correctly. So maybe can I do this? And now if I do this, it's invalid. Why is it invalid syntax now? Email backend Django core mail. And now if I run this, will this work? Yeah, it doesn't work. Wait. I know what's happening. I need to run the server. Why the Okay, works. I have no idea why that happened. Like errors are just jumping out on their own here. Okay, let's update our view. We have this comment here saying that we need to add our logic for sending emails. So what we need to do is I need to build a full absolute URL to the post. Build a request. Build absolute. Do I even have request here? Okay, build absolute URL post get absolute URL. So this will build a full absolute URL to the post. So what we'll have here, we'll have something like http localhost 80 post 5, something like this. So basically, why are we doing this? So we can include it in the email body. So I'm gonna do create subject. Let's create it using the cleaned form data. So I'm gonna take the name, recommends this article for you. It's gonna be post title. Post title at post URL. Right. And then we just need to send the email. Send email. I need to import it. So I need to import it. From Django core mail import send mail. And here I'm just gonna do send false up, like, to keep everything up to date. Here I'm gonna say send true, and now I also need to provide the body of the send email function. I'm gonna have a subject. I'm gonna have the body. I'm gonna say admin at myblog.com. Form data to whomever I'm sending this. Send email is not defined. Send mail. Is it send mail or send email? Send mail. And I think everything else is the same. Post form. What else do I need to send? Send. Okay. All right. We also need a new URL pattern here. So what we will do, we'll go path. We need an integer. It's going to be a post ID. Share. So basically, we capture an integer from the URL and we pass it to the view as post ID. Share is just a suffix of the route. What else do we need here? We need our view, which is gonna be views post share, and we need a name post share. This will call the post share view function. This will give this URL a name so we can refer it in our templates. All right, let's build a share HTML template. And then we'll also update, where are my templates? Here. Then we'll also update the details, the HTML, so we can show full post content, plus we will have a link that will say share by email. So let's do this. We are gonna create it inside templates, blog, posts, new file, share HTML. Let me close everything else. Let me just write this. I'm again extending blog base HTML. Extends, I need to close it. All right. Now this is the content. I don't need a title here. Maybe I need a title. Let's also create the title block. Post title. Add block. No, don't put it on the same page. Let me also do the content. And now okay, my environment is running. If I refresh this, if I go here, it doesn't work. But maybe it will work if I do. By the way, let me maybe just explain what this file does before we start testing it. We have some things that are maybe unusual. The CRSFE token, which is just a security token to prevent cross-site request forgery. We have form SP, which renders the form fields inside p tags, which is default styling. What else do we have? If we have it sent, this is the flag we set in the view to display success messages. And of course, we inherit the base layout. And sent, if you remember, is passed from the view. If I open my view here, this is the send flag. So when we do if sent, Django lets us conditionally show a success message or the form again. We have basically flow logic here. So if sent, email sent, otherwise please display the form here. Okay, let's go to details. I'm gonna add a title, block title, post title, and block. All right. Okay, post outer. Let me maybe also create a div. This is gonna be a class of post body. Okay. And the last thing I'm gonna do is just add oh god, I hate it that it doesn't automatically close it. Okay. So let's see what's gonna happen here. Okay, I got an error during template rendering, and it says that I don't have post share because it's not a valid view function or pattern name. I already had this happen to me. Let me just check what happens here. Post share. Where are my URLs here? Post share, and how it's here. Post share. Post share. What's happening? Basically, Django is trying to build a URL with the name post share, but it can't find any path registered with that name. Which means basically that we have this URL here, but it doesn't find any paths, even though we have a path here. Okay, Django is saying you're trying to use a URL name that doesn't exist. Why am I doing this? What if I kill it and run it again? It doesn't work again. I forgot that my URL names are namespace. So here I basically need to add blog. And now if I refresh it, yeah, it works. So if I click here, yeah, this doesn't work. This doesn't work. Unclosed diagonal line 1 block. Looking for one of and block. Share. Block. Title and block. Block content and block. This is the syntax. No, it's here. I hate this. I hate this. I need to find a better formatter. This one doesn't work at all. But yeah. We have also the form here. And if I say here test@test.com to receiver@receiver.com, this is a comment. And if I do send email, oh, something failed. Something failed in our views. Build absolute. This is my bad. And if I now send an email, connection is refused. Connection is refused because my local testing server is not working properly. Oh, I made a mistake. I was using the real backend the whole time instead of a fake one. And now email is sent. I think I'm also gonna configure a real backend maybe before the next episode, just so we can send real emails. But for now, that's it. Thank you all for watching this episode as well, and see you in the next one.